Vancouver, with just a bike and 2 sticks, a Vancouver science enthusiast has proven that the Earth is, indeed, round. Curtis Boudet knew he needed to go somewhere flat. So he set out to Saskatchewan to recreate an experiment some 2,200 years old. His findings were uploaded to his YouTube channel early Tuesday morning. The scientific method is an incredible thing. I use it to test if the Earth is flat or round, and to measure its size, with just my bike and 2 sticks. Most people don't understand the basics of the solar system, Boudet said in an interview. A tenth of Americans think that maybe the world is flat. Not always a lover of science, Boudet said he became fascinated after understanding the story and the process behind the facts. Once a former science teacher, he now works full-time posting videos on those very topics on YouTube. Top stories in your inbox. For the day's top news from the Star's award-winning journalists, sign up for our daily headlines newsletter. Article continued. Below, the previous measurement for calculating the Earth's circumference meant pacing more than 800 kilometers between 2 cities in 240 BC. But Boudet headed to one of the globe's longest stretches of flat road in Saskatchewan on HWY 33. The Saskatchewan Science Centre placed a sundial in Regina, and Boudet cycled 138 kilometers to Stoughton, where he routed down the second. Then, he began to measure the shadows. Since the sun is very far from the Earth, the light hits us in parallel lines, he explained. If the Earth was flat and the sun is very far away, then those shadows would be the same length. In fact, the shadows were roughly 4 centimeters shorter in Stoughton than in Regina. Science enthusiast Curtis Boudet cycled 138 kilometers across Saskatchewan to prove the world is round. Curtis Boudet submitted. Read more. California man who believes Earth is flat propels himself 600 meters in self-built rocket. Article continued. Below, scientists launch expedition to map coral-covered underwater volcanoes. Fact and fiction collide at Flat Earth Museum on Fogo Island. The trip was remarkably fast, lasting 8 hours. Boudet insisted the winds gusting up to 48 kilometers an hour helped him to sail. Boudet determined the size of the circumference of the Earth using several equations. Notably, his calculations were 17% smaller than the original value, weighing in at 33,120 kilometers. We think about science as a dead tome of facts. But it's a constantly evolving thing, he said. His enthusiasm for sharing science comes in part from what he sees as growing anti-science sentiment and a lack of understanding about the fundamentals. And the results come 1 month before flat earthers descend in Edmonton for an international conference. Boudet said he was invited by one of the organizers to the event and is seriously considering it. That's because the topic appears extremely polarized. But there are people listening who may just be confused, he insisted. That's exactly why I do what I do, he said. It's a shame that people won't engage. I'm really keen to get people excited about science. Boudet's next experiment will simulate the Earth's ecosystem by placing plants, and himself, in an airtight room for 3 days. Read more. Our politicians need to understand why science matters. Alberta scientists help track ghostly, high-energy neutrino through deep space. Melanie Green is a Vancouver-based reporter covering food culture and policy. Follow her on Twitter, @MDG Media.